Hello everyone, and welcome to my test kitchen. I'm going back to my Italian heritage today. Growing up, every Sunday at my grandmother's house, everyone gathered for an all-day feast of macaroni and meatballs. This is what we call pasta in Brooklyn. This is a variation on a theme because this is delicious in a gluten-free world. So we're making some zucchini noodles and meatballs, pan-seared cherry tomatoes, fresh basil, and some beautiful Parmesan Reggiano. Okay, let's get started with our recipe. We have 1 pound of our organic ground turkey. We have 4 cloves of garlic minced really fine. I like a fair amount of garlic. We have 2 pasteurized eggs. We're using almond flour because we're going grain-free as well as gluten-free. Although in traditional meatballs, I might use bread soaked in milk, and this, which is really how you make meatballs, but in this case we're going to use the almond flour. This is 2 tablespoons of cream, just really yields a more moist meatball. This is a teaspoon and a pinch of salt. We have about a cup of parsley. You want to use a lot of parsley. You want that beautiful herb to come through. And we are taking about a cup of Parmesan. I think is a good amount. We have very clean hands here, and then really this is like, you know, for some people they like putting their hands in the earth. I like putting my hands and making meatballs. So when we're making our meatballs, you want to have a little bowl of water near you just to kind of dip your fingers in. It'll just keep everything nice and smooth. Pan on medium to high, closer to medium. You want to put a fair amount of, I'm using olive oil. This is just a very simple, light kind of olive oil, not an extra virgin. You could use canola oil. You could use canola oil because it's a neutral oil. And then we're just going to take our little meatballs here. You want to hear that little bit of sizzle. And you know that your pan is hot enough. You don't want the meatballs touching. If they touch, they'll steam a little bit. They won't get that nice crisp golden brown. So you want to make sure that there's a little bit of space between your meatballs. You'll know when your meatball needs to be flipped when it just releases itself in the pan. Then you just flip it over. We are going to brown these on all sides. One of the tools we're going to need. It's a little spirulina. It makes our noodles really beautiful, and it's a good grips gadget. They're inexpensive. You can get a little bit more sophisticated one if you want, but this doesn't take up a lot of space also if you have it in your kitchen. And it looks like spaghetti. A little bit of olive oil in our pan. We're going to keep the heat on kind of medium to low. And we're just going to I'm actually salting them right before I put them in the pan. If you put salt in the zucchini and let it sit, it will pull out a lot of moisture and make the zucchini noodles a little mushy. And we don't want that. I'm going to cook these for about 3 or 4 minutes. 5 minutes at the most. Taste them. You want to keep the noodles al dente like you would pasta. I am breaking my tomato rule, and that is to not really use tomatoes until they're perfectly ripe and at their peak, which is in the summertime. But the reason I am doing that right now is because I just wanted it to be a fresher dish. We could use canned tomatoes, but it would make it a little heavier. So I like the idea of the brightness of the dish. So these are organic cherry tomatoes, but I am breaking my rule. I always like to go over the health benefits of the ingredients we're using because I think it's important to know. So we have our parsley today, which is great. It's anti-inflammatory, it supports the immune function, great in smoothies for a detox. Just put it in your smoothie or just really put parsley anywhere. It's just a really good detox. And it has a really important B vitamin called folic acid in it. Basil. Basil is one of the oldest herbs known to humankind, holy basil, good for digestion. It actually slows down the release of sugar in the blood. So that's a really great benefit as well. Then we have our tomatoes, which they're high in vitamin C, they have potassium, they have vitamin K as well. Zucchini is great for digestion, it's good for circulation, and it has liver support as well. Parmigiano Reggiano, which is the king of cheeses, 19 of the 21 amino acids that we need in our body, Parmesan has. People that are actually sensitive to dairy can have Parmesan. I mean, give it a try if you feel comfortable doing that. It seems to be the cheese that most people can really tolerate, and it's so delicious. Organic, I think I mentioned, organic pasture-raised turkey. Why organic? There's no antibiotics. And pasture-raised, it just has more vitamins and minerals. So those are just a few little tidbits of health benefits, and I hope that you continue to strive to eat a more healthy, balanced diet. Okay, I like twirling the noodles on a fork just to put it in a plate. It looks really pretty that way. Just kind of sit it down there. Not a bad idea to actually, after you make your noodles with the spiralizer, to cut them with a scissor. Just make them a little bit shorter. We're gonna put our meatballs. Take our tomatoes. Just really beautiful glycerin tomatoes. We take some of our fresh basil leaves. Tuck that under there a little bit. A little tuck there. I'm going to give it a little tiny little squeeze of lemon. It just brightens everything up. This is optional, but I love lemon in a dish. It just makes it. And then we're just going to take a tiny little bit of oil, olive oil. This is really good extra virgin olive oil for a finish, and just over our meatballs. And there you go. That's beautiful. It's full of color, really healthy, delicious. All right, we're gonna give it a taste now, see what we did in the test kitchen today and see what we did here. That is really, really good. The lemon just brightened it all up. The basil comes through, the tomatoes. The meatballs are delicious. You get the parsley, all those elements. My grandmother would be proud. Thank you for watching. I hope you will go into your kitchen and give this one a try. The full recipe will be posted on my website, lauriaricciardoni.com. Give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Until next time, buon appetito. This recipe today, and as I said, I hope you enjoy it, is really the first of a series we're doing for gluten-free travels, Italian style. So stay tuned for our next 4 classes and recipes, which will be delicious in a gluten-free world, but really staying true to the tradition of Italian food that I certainly